You think you're funny, do you?
And so I ask myself, I said, do my ragamuffins have a favorite author? Do they have someone who writes in such a way that no matter the book, no matter the topic, when you go through all the things that the characters do in the way that they interact with one another, and also in the way that they respond to difficult situations, it just really makes you feel something deeply. And that's the way that I feel about books written by William Steig. William Steig, it turns out, has always been interested in the arts. And when he was a younger man, he used to work for the New Yorker magazine. And he was a cartoonist. And he submitted hundreds upon hundreds of cartoons that had a little bit of an attitude, okay? He loved showing how complicated people were. And in the book that we're going to enjoy today, the theme that we're really going to explore is how love and kindness and smarts can get you through a difficult situation. There is something that people call a moral dilemma. Sounds very complicated, but it isn't. Morality has to deal with whether something is right or wrong. And a dilemma just has to deal with a situation where you don't know what to do. For example, is it okay to tell a lie if you think that the lie is going to result in something good happening? Well, lies are wrong. It's a difficult situation. You have to look at everything episode by episode, let's say. So in this book called Dr. De Soto, we have, and animals are used quite often in William Steig's books. And he has a dentist, Dr. De Soto, and his wife, his assistant. And they are approached, well, you know what? Let's just begin the book, and you can make a decision about whether William Steig ought to be on the top of your list of favorite authors. Dr. De Soto is so brave, but is it wise for a mouse to treat a fox? Dr. De Soto, the dentist, did very good work, so he had no end of patients. Those close to his own size, moles, chipmunks, etc., sat in the regular dentist's chair. Larger animals sat on the floor, while Dr. De Soto stood on a ladder. For extra-large animals, he had a special room. There, Dr. De Soto was hoisted up to the patient's mouth by his assistant, who also happened to be his wife. Dr. De Soto was especially popular with the big animals. He was able to work inside their mouths, wearing rubbers to keep his feet dry, and his fingers were so delicate and his drills so dainty, they couldn't hardly feel any pain. Being a mouse, he refused to treat animals dangerous to mice, and it said so on his sign. When the doorbell rang, he and his wife would look out the window. They wouldn't admit even the most timid-looking cat. One day, when they looked out, they saw a well-dressed fox with a flannel bandage around his jaw. "I cannot treat you, sir," Dr. De Soto shouted. "Sir, haven't you read my sign?" "Please," the fox wailed. "Have mercy, I'm suffering." And he wept so bitterly it was painful to see. "Just a moment," said Dr. De Soto. "That poor fox," he whispered to his wife. "What shall we do?" "Let's risk it," said Mrs. De Soto. She pressed the buzzer and let the fox in. He was up the stairs in a flash. "Bless your little hearts," he cried, falling to his knees. "I beg you, do something. My tooth is killing me." "Sit on the floor, sir," said Dr. De Soto, "and remove the bandage, please." Dr. De Soto climbed up the ladder and bravely entered the fox's mouth. "Ooh, wow," he gasped. The fox had a rotten bicuspid and unusually bad breath. "This tooth will have to come out," Dr. DeSoto announced. "But we can make you a new one." "Just stop the pain," whimpered the fox, wiping some tears away. Despite his misery, he realized he had a tasty little morsel in his mouth, and his jaw began to quiver. "Keep open," yelled Dr. DeSoto. "Wide open," yelled his wife. "I'm giving you gas now," said Dr. DeSoto. "You won't feel a thing when I yank that tooth." Soon the fox was in dreamland. "Yummy," he mumbled. "How I love them raw with just a pinch of salt and a dry white wine." They could guess what he was dreaming about. Mrs. DeSoto handed her husband a pole to keep the fox's mouth open. Dr. DeSoto fastened his extractor to the bad tooth. Then he and his wife began turning the winch. Finally, with a sucking sound, the tooth popped out and hung swaying in the air. "I'm bleeding," the fox yelped when he came to. Dr. DeSoto ran up the ladder and stuffed some gauze in the hole. "The worst is over," he said. "I'll have your new tooth ready tomorrow. Be here at 11 sharp." The fox, still woozy, said goodbye and left. On his way home, he wondered if it would be shabby of him to eat the DeSotos when the job was done. After office hours, Mrs. DeSoto molded a tooth of pure gold and polished it. "Raw with salt, indeed," muttered Dr. DeSoto. "How foolish to trust a fox." "He didn't know what he was saying," said Mrs. DeSoto. "Why should he harm us? We're helping him." "Because he's a fox," said Dr. DeSoto. "They're wicked, wicked creatures." Now, this is the place where I'm a little bit nervous right now, because the DeSotos understand that the fox's instinct, his animal instinct, is to eat the mice. They know that this fox is thinking exactly that, because that's what he muttered when he was dreaming. He said he wanted to eat them with the dry white wine. And for them to decide that they were going to go against the wild animal's instincts to still help him become pain-free is really, really incredible. And I don't know if it's so smart. So I want you to do me a favor and put a comment down below and let me know if you think that the mice were making a smart decision. Do you think it was wise of them to take the chance to help the fox out of its pain? So let me know what you think. That night, the DeSotos lay awake worrying. "Should we let him in tomorrow?" Mrs. DeSoto wondered. "Once I start a job," said the dentist firmly, "I finish it. My father was the same way." "But we must do something to protect ourselves," said his wife. They talked and talked until they formed a plan. "I think it will work," said Dr. DeSoto. A minute later, he was snoring. The next morning, promptly at 11, a very cheerful fox turned up. He was feeling not a particle of pain. When Dr. DeSoto got into his mouth, he snapped it shut for a moment, then opened wide and laughed. "Just a joke," he chortled. "Be serious," said the dentist sharply. "We have work to do." His wife was lugging the heavy tooth up the ladder. "Oh, I love it!" exclaimed the fox. "It's just beautiful!" Dr. DeSoto set the gold tooth in its socket and hooked it up to the teeth on both sides. The fox caressed the new tooth with his tongue. "My, it feels good," he thought. "I really shouldn't eat them. On the other hand, how can I resist?" "We're not finished," said Dr. DeSoto, holding up a large jug. "I have here a remarkable preparation developed only recently by my wife and me. With just one application, you can be rid of toothaches forever. How would you like to be the first one to receive this unique treatment?" "I certainly would," the fox declared. "I'd be honored." He hated any kind of personal pain. "You will never have to see us again," said Dr. DeSoto. "No one will see you again," said the fox to himself. He had definitely made up his mind to eat them with the help of his brand new tooth. Now, what a character this fox is, because it's not just that because he's a fox, he feels like his instincts are just taking over and he just has to eat them because he's put together that way. He seems to be really enjoying this. He is going to eat them with the new tooth. He isn't going to eat them with his tooth having been pulled out. No, he's going to wait for the work to be done and then devour the two mice. Dr. DeSoto stepped into the fox's mouth with a bucket of secret formula and proceeded to paint each tooth. He hummed as he worked. Mrs. DeSoto stood by on the ladder, pointing out spots he had missed. The fox looked very happy. When the dentist was done, he stepped out. "Now close your jaws tight," he said, "and keep them closed for a full minute." The fox did as he was told. Then he tried to open his mouth, but his teeth were stuck together. Excuse me, I should have mentioned," said Dr. DeSoto. "You won't be able to open your mouth for a day or two. The secret formula must first permeate the dentine. But don't worry, no pain ever again." The fox was stunned. He stared at Dr. DeSoto, then at his wife. They smiled and waited. All he could do was say, "Thank you very much," through his clenched teeth, and get up and leave. He tried to do so with dignity. Then he stumbled down the stairs in a daze. Dr. DeSoto and his assistant had outfoxed the fox. They kissed each other and took the rest of the day off. And so, of course, the mice, the DeSotos, used their intelligence, their wit, to come up with a plan that allowed them to do the right thing by helping the fox and at the same time protect themselves. There are so many things that William Steig has allowed us to really think about in this book. And it's one of the reasons why when kids read his book, they understand it really well. Their comprehension is high because he has involved the reader. He's engaged the reader in trying to figure out how to resolve the moral dilemma. The characters that are involved are really complicated as well. And sometimes I think that his assistant, Mrs. DeSoto, is overlooked in this story. And it really occurs to me that in addition to being a risk taker, because remember when the bell rang, she was the one who decided, let's risk it, let's let him in. And then she just hit the buzzer. She didn't even wait for Dr. DeSoto to talk it through. But then later that night, teamwork was involved. That's another theme. They really thought the thing through. The mice didn't just take a chance and willy-nilly hope that they weren't going to be eaten. They knew what the fox was inclined to do, what the fox's instincts were. And so they protected themselves by coming up with a plan. So you can see that William Steig has also really acknowledged the fact that you can use intelligence to get yourself through difficult situations. So I've got to tell you that William Steig has written a lot of books. One of them was Sylvester and the Magic Pebbles. And of course, the one that's really made him famous is Shrek. He wrote the book Shrek, on which the movie was based, which is huge. And so every time I see William Steig, I respect the fact that he bases his characters on how complicated people are. And he uses these characters to show us that you can use intelligence and wit and planning and cunning to overcome difficult moral dilemmas. So I hope you enjoy this book, hope you enjoyed the book, and I hope that William Steig is one step closer to becoming way up there on your favorite authors list. Okay, thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.
George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything.